Good morning, everybody. We are now live and we're going to jump straight into the topic I have for us today, which is which has been a topic and theme for the week, which is um, almost there. Hold on, I want to start recording. I can't find the record, but there we go. It's like make haste, right? All right. So again, good morning, everybody. I'm so sorry we're like 11 minutes late. The theme that I wanted to talk about today, because I asked for you guys' grace and mercy and forgiveness, is grace. And so all this week, I've been talking to my clients about sexuality and aging and being able to be patient with yourself as you get older. And I think it was so funny because it's like every day this week, I had a client, both male and female, so actually half men, half women, actually, if I think about it, really say like, man, I can't do what I used to do. Like I used to be able to like swing from the chandeliers and I just can't anymore. Or I used to be able to like, have sex pop up and have sex again. And, now I need a nap in between. And, you know, and just that. And then women with our bodies. One of the great conversations I was in this week was like kind of as we get older, needing the lights to be on a little bit more. And so we were joking that, when you're 20, you can find everything. It's where it's supposed to be. But when you're 40, 50, 60, like things aren't where they used to be. And maybe we do need a little light, which means we have to be a little bit more comfortable with our bodies and kind of really just embracing that as a wonderful new stage. And so maybe we're not having sex 20 times, but the one day we have it, we're able to kind of have a deeper, slower connection that works with who we are now, and just
Mhm.
really kind of being okay with sex changes as you get older. So
Mhm.
okay, so I kind of jumped in full steam ahead because I was feeling so bad from being late this morning, but I was just honest to God trying to do too much before 9:30. All right, so Jessica Addison, Mary Hannah, so glad to have both of you guys here today. All right, so what are your thoughts? We're gonna go with you, Jessica, because you got the beautiful
Hey.
background. I just felt like your hair is that we need to be paying attention to you. All
I
right.
would say I've came across a lot, male and female, who are very hard on themselves when it comes to sex and relationships. And the one major thing they say is like trying to compare themselves and where they're getting their influence from. And when we kind of break it down and educate them on certain things, they see like those parameters of what normal sex or what the average amount comes from people who they don't even know, who they can't even connect with, probably don't have the same demographics as them as well. So the normal and the parameters that people put on things, they came from something themselves, like they created something. So you have to create what you bring to sex, because you bring meaning to sex. Sex doesn't bring meaning to you. So try
Mhm.
to kind of implement that into clients is what I try to do.
That's such a good point because we do have those conversations with our clients. Like, actually tell me who is the real person that you're
Mhm.
comparing yourself to, that you actually know, that you could call on the phone right now and verify this information. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah,
TV, movies, porn, yeah, all
right,
that.
right. And then when there is an actual person, because I remember a long time ago, I had a lady who was comparing herself to her mom. She was like, well, my mom and dad are getting it in. Your mom and dad are retired. They're at the house
Yeah.
all day long. You got 5 babies under the age of 5. You're working a full-time job. You're in a PhD program. You don't have the time or energy to get in like your mama. Like you just don't. And so if there is a real person that you're comparing yourself to, I'm gonna need you to go deeper in. Are they in the same life stage that I'm in? Are they dealing with the same circumstances I'm in? Are they dealing with the same stress level that I am in? And really making sure you're reality testing your ideas. Because that whole, like what the old people say, was the comparison is the thief of joy. Like
Yeah.
it's real. So, okay. All right, Mary Hannah, what's coming up for you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, especially what you were talking about of like sex and aging. That plays
Mhm.
into so much of like a lot of the like sort of like media or cultural stereotypes or ideas that can be
Mhm.
harmful that we are fed from a very young age about what makes good sex. And I think about like hard bodies, the way that people think that
Yeah,
you have to have a young, hard, slim body to have the best
yeah.
sex, or that, yeah, you have to like, oh, your sexual prime is like when you're in your 20s or when you're like a
Mhm.
teenager or whatever. And um, the book Passionate Marriage by David Snarch, I feel like I'm
Yep,
like,
yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. David Snarch's
Um,
Passionate Marriage. Mhm.
Yes, yeah. And so he gives this really great example at like one of his like workshops with couples where he asks them if like the best sex that they ever had was when they were a teenager at like 16, 17, 18, and
Mhm.
no one agrees. Like no one ever feels that it's the case that they sexually
Right.
peaked at that time. Like no, that's when they didn't know anything about sex or about themselves.
Mhm.
And so kind of recognizing those harmful like
Mhm.
commentaries that we often have to face about sex, and then being able to recognize that it's a trade-off. Like that's a
Yeah.
definitely a very real grief of like grieving like what your body used to do and aging, and
Mhm.
you're also trading it for you as a person that know yourself better than you ever have in your whole life, and being more comfortable with that, and that leading to like the best connection you could have with someone else on that level.
Mhm. That's so good and so rich. I think one of the other things, especially for women, is because women can feel a lot of shame around gaining weight. And
Hmm.
and the truth is, like, I know no real woman who hasn't gained weight as she's gotten older, you know? And even when I think about even some of the stars, if you look back, you can see a difference. So, for example, Beyonce, gorgeous, in shape. But if you look at the difference between her body when she's 18, 19 and her body now, like there's a real difference. And so I really want women kind of embracing that and not hating their body, because
Mm.
it's like they're punishing their body and they're saying, "Okay, body, you're not good enough because you've been serving me and gaining weight and doing these things. And so you're no longer good enough for sex." The problem with that is that we don't usually get very far in punishing our bodies and keeping it from pleasure to make it do better. The other problem with that is that if you're in a committed relationship, a long-term committed relationship, and physical love, sex has been part of it, now you're punishing the relationship, because if you're not willing to
Mhm.
have sex with your partner because your body doesn't deserve pleasure anymore, because it's not
Mm.
good enough. It's not worthy for love. It's not worthy of physical touch. Okay, but now you're also keeping your partner from having physical touch. And so I really want us like kind of all thinking about that and seeing, our bodies as worthy, and loving our bodies and ourselves kind of unconditionally, because I think nobody's 100% of the time. I think even the most in shape people, their body is not going to be 100% of the time. I know my friends who are really like kind of more of the gym rats, and there are times when they fall off, you know.
Mhm.
We know the major times when there's going to be like any type of crisis, of course, like car accidents, a death in the families, something like that. Traveling a lot will usually throw
Mhm.
it off. And so being able to show your body and yourself and your sex life kind of unconditional love of you're worthy, whether you're perfect or not, you're still worthy with that.
Mm.
Okay, what else is coming up for you guys? What are you thinking?
Yeah, like one thing that came up for me as you were talking is so often those things that like, yeah, and especially women in that scenario can
Mhm.
feel, it's not even that. I feel like so many women don't even identify that that's what they're experiencing. And then whenever they're able to do like that self-reflection, there is so much power in finally like speaking it out loud when it's often the thing that they are trying to keep hidden the most, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Oh, so much. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You're right. because there's so like, because I think even us therapists sometimes are just like, I don't know if I'm doing any work. Like it feels like I'm just talking to people. And then we have those moments with just being able to acknowledge something and saying something out loud of like, man, I have been punishing my body. I haven't been giving myself self-acceptance. It's like, okay, I can start doing it. One of my favorite guided imagery audios is by this lady, Bell Ruth Napperstadt. So scientifically researched and everything. And one of her lines in one of her audios is, "My body is my oldest and dearest friend." And so I know it's such a like powerful line. I've heard it years ago and I've just kept that because I want my clients to think of your body as my oldest and dearest friend. And so I don't have to be upset with it that it's getting older, that it doesn't move as fast as it used to, because I wouldn't be upset with my friend. Like I wouldn't be, I would understand. Yeah, we're not 20 anymore, and understand. And I think this week it was definitely, I think, my men not understanding or not wanting to say, man, I'm not as strong as I used to be. I can't go as long as I used to go. And like, what does that mean for me? And so I think a lot of men see themselves as being kind of this basically Superman. And so if I can't be Superman, what does that mean? So if I can't have a rock hard penis that lasts for 24 hours anymore, what does that mean? Will I still be accepted? Am I still man enough? And so I really want to talk to men about kind of embracing aging, being that older male that kind of has that charisma and his own swag.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the young hot stud, and even as I think about that, like I was thinking kind of like the young hot stud is almost kind of being a little dumb and like half-witted or something, and the older man is being more refined and patient and slow and like classy and everything. And so I really want men to like step into that role as opposed to just kind of mourning, I'm not who I used to be, kind of like Al Bundy talking about being the high school quarterback. Like, yeah, but you have you have a life now. Like, look at who you are now. There's so many wonderful things about who you are now. And just because you can't keep your penis hard for 24 hours anymore doesn't mean that you're less than. So, okay. All right. What else? Jessica Addison, what's coming up for you?
Kind of what both of you guys said when Mary Hannah talked about being at your prime. And I believe it was Come As You Are. I want to say it, but I read to where being at your prime isn't a good thing, because after that you're going to go on a downward spiral, because what else do you have to live up to? And she kind of gave like the example of like when you're playing basketball and you're young, like 13, 14, you're vibrant, your body's full of life, and you don't know kind of like the fundamentals of the game. You're just doing it for the for the hell of it. So when you get like in your 20s, you're learning a few things, a few techniques or what have you, getting like your grasp on things. Then when you hit your 30s, now you kind of know, like, not only playing for you, but playing like the competitor and what their tactics are and what have you. And then when you get in your 40s and 50s, you can really sit down and talk about the philosophy of the game and kind of have like a deeper understanding of who you are as a player, the game, and all that it comes with. So the same thing goes with sex, to where when you're younger, you're just having sex like jackrabbits, and you don't know what to do. You don't know all the kinks out there. You don't know all the toys and things of that nature. So never put a time stamp of this is what it was because my body was this way. Yeah. But we also need to talk about our mind, because our biggest sexual organ is our brain. So us being well developed of who we are and what we can do, and embracing that, you'll have the greatest sex when you come into that. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I want people to actually take on the challenge of making your sex life better and better and better and better, which does not mean more, 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 more. It means what I said, better. Like, how do we make this experience better? Like, what would make this experience greater for us? What do we need to do now to have a deeper connection, to have more pleasure, like to work it into our schedule so we're not rushed? And and to really look at that and take on the challenge that I just did. Sex is so much more than a rock hard, solid body, you know, and giving yourself grace and mercy around that, grace and mercy around your body. And then understanding that your sex life can be so much better, you know? It's almost like
Yeah.
I want to say, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing is like youth is just so like overly valued in like our current culture.
Yeah,
And it's really important to take that moment to remember like it is a privilege to grow
yeah,
old and to be in an
Yeah.
age where we get to experience a full life, you know?
yeah. Oh, that's so good. I have a couple of my clients, and they're in their some in their 30s and some in their 40s, and they're just like, I'm so old. I'm so old, and now I've like wasted my life away. And so one of the exercises that I have them do is like, let's plot your life out. Let's plot your life out. So let's say 100 might be a stretch for some people, although medical technology is changing by the day. Who knows? And so if we just even look at your life until 90, and we think about what do you want sex to be like in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, in your 80s, then now you realize, oh, wait, I do have all of this time left. I haven't wasted or missed time, you know? And one of my favorite clients, and we have like 3 minutes left, he has this favorite saying that I have like taken and stolen, adopted, and made it my own. But he says, when is the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago. When is the second best time? Today. And so we could all done wonderful things when we were younger. We we you missed the age of hanging from the chandelier. That's fine. Okay, what can you do now? Because that
Mhm.
sturdy kitchen chair could probably be as fabulous as the chandelier without it being dangerous, you know? What you know, there's so many opportunities for joy and pleasure. And so go have a great sex life, people. All right. Last words, Mary Hannah. Last words, Jessica.
I would just say
I
life begins. I'm sorry. Life
no good.
begins when your comfort zone ends. That's what I
Ooh,
feel. And I tell clients.
I like it. I like it. All right, Mary Hannah.
The trade of getting to know yourself and being more comfortable with yourself and your partner is so worth it as you trade away age and youth. Like that is such a better, deeper, realer connection.
Yeah, it really is. Okay. Ladies, thank you guys. This has been a wonderful conversation. And I'm so excited to get it out into the world because somebody needs to hear this message, you know. And I know they need to hear it because I've been talking about it all week long. And so, and I needed to hear it for myself. And so thank you guys. Y'all have a great day.